Bible study lesson, we talked about Jesus going to the Feast of Tabernacles. He went in secret, and the people didn't like the idea of him being the Messiah. And part of us, one of the comments that I made this morning is they had a perverted idea of what the Messiah really was. And if you take back and look in Isaiah chapter 53, Isaiah refers to him as the servant. Isaiah writes, he goes, "Who has believed our message, and to whom has an arm of the Lord been revealed? He grew up before him like a tender shoot and like a root out of dry ground. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows and familiar with suffering, like one from whom men hide their faces. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he took up our infirmities and carried our sorrows. Yet we considered him stricken by God, smitten by him and afflicted. However, he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was upon him, and by his wounds we are healed. We all, like sheep, have gone astray. Each of us has turned to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. Yet he was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and a sheep before her shearers is silent. So he did not open his mouth. By oppression and judgment he was taken away. And who can speak of his descendants? For he was cut off from them from the land of the living. For the transgression of my people he was stricken. He was assigned a grave with the wicked, and with the rich in his death, though he had done no violence, nor there was any deceit in his mouth. Yet it was the Lord's will to crush him and cause him to suffer. And though the Lord makes his life a guilt offering, he will see his offspring and prolong his days, and the will of the Lord will prosper in his hand. After the suffering of his soul, he will see the light of life and be satisfied. By his knowledge, my righteous servants will justify many, and he will bear their iniquity. Therefore, I will give him a portion among the great, and he will divide the spoils among the strong. He will be poured out his life unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressors, for he bore the sin of many and made an intercession for the transgressors." In verse 10, Isaiah says, "Yet it was the Lord's will to crush him and to cause him to suffer. And though the Lord makes his life a guilt offering, he will see his offspring and prolong his days." God was not pleased in seeing his servant suffer. What he was pleased in is he was able to provide an adequate sacrifice for the redemption of man. His delight was in the achievement of the servant, in the achievement of Christ, for the world would prosper in his hand. This here was the cost of salvation.